let's make some 1940s slips. Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. I'm a living historian who educates other living historians by teaching old-fashioned sewing skills and copying originals. So we are making some slips because I don't have any slips for the 1940s, and I feel like that's kind of an important thing to have. I have here some cotton voile, both in white and in pink. Both of those seem to be popular colors for slips. I'm armed with the Mrs. DePew vintage pattern. It is her, it's number 2043. And it has slips, tap pants, and the bra. And I believe we made the tap pants and the bra from this pattern specifically. Maybe a different pattern, but I think we made it from this pattern a couple months ago. And so I just need some slips. So I think there's nothing left to do but maybe set all this out and get to cutting. Alright, I'm cutting out the pink one first. And just about everything's on the bias, which is going to help it, lay nicely. And the white one. And that's it for the fabric. I do cut this out. I'm going to leave this out. I don't know how much to cut for this bottom of the skirt yet, so I'm not going to cut it, but I'm going to leave it out and we'll just, whatever I end up using. But I will need to sew darts, so I'm going to keep. Alright, we are going to start with doing the dart in the lace for the white one. I really thought about doing this with the original machine, and the original machine gave us so much trouble last time, and I haven't really had time to mess with it. So I think it was just the fabric was too thick for it. And so I think this would be fine, but I really don't want to have to get all the stuff off of it, only to find it's going to break me. And then before we sew the next step, I want to show you prepping it, just because I think it's kind of important if you're making up this pattern to see how it's constructed. Because it won't make a lot of sense if I just show you here. Alright, I'm hoping this will give you a good view of what we're doing. So I start with my belt in the front. We're going to do the front first. And I gotta remember it goes this way. So I'm going to start with just pinning. I already have, of course, the belt folded in, so there's no raw edges. And we're going to pin this on top. So really we're going to top stitch it and then go back in and finish the seams in a moment. And everything's on the bias, so I have to be very careful not to pull anything that's a needle. That doesn't need to be pulled. And basically the way we're doing this is we're prepping the whole front, and we're going to stitch all of that, and then we'll do the whole back, and then we will attach the two afterwards. So now I have a top. Now, of course, with the white one, I had to add the lace over top. But I don't have to do that with this one. So I'm going to take the front skirt, and the skirt is the exact same size as this belt bias. So if anything doesn't quite fit, you can always just snug it up in there. Now, this one is prepped, so that's the front all ready to be sewn. Now with the back there is no belt, so I just folded up the top of the bodice itself. These are so light though. I mean, yes, they're sheer, but they are so light. They're going to work all, in addition to being slips. They're going to be amazing for summer night dresses. Now I'm going to stitch across all of those lines and attach everything essentially. We just won't be attaching the front to the back yet. That will be the next step. Front piece, but because I don't like to waste any thread, I'm going to start these ties. And then once we have that done, the next step will be sewing the side seams. And then all of these seams are going to get finished by hand whipping them down. So it's like a run and fill seam. Right now I did forget to cut binding for the back and then for the pink, so I will need to do that. But I think I'm going to go do some felling first, because that sounds like something we could just do very quickly. This is sewing on the binding, so I had to do it in the back of the white one and of course around the hole of the pink one. This is the neckline, which I am now whipping in. All the seams have been whipped except for this one doesn't have the side seams done because I felt like I ought to like finish the edge of the lace and all that before I got to that. So the pink one is essentially done except for the hem, which we need to let them sit for 24 hours or so, just because they're cut on the bias, and you want to make sure that bias is actually going to look good, because a nice bias likes to hang in very odd ways, especially after a while. So letting it sit for 24 hours or so will help gravity kind of do its thing. That way you can recut the hem a little bit and then hem it to where it actually is even all the way around. I did do a fitting last night actually, just with my husband to make sure, and my husband helped me get the ties to the right length because I had to cut off several inches. This is how much I had to cut off at the ties. This looks maybe is slightly too tight in the hips, but they're not bad and they do fit. And of course it's biased so it stretches a little bit. Once I have the girdle on, I don't think it'll be an issue. You know, when I started this 1940s project last night, I wasn't exactly expecting it to have so much handwork. Usually my 20th century projects don't require very much, if any, handwork. And I found this seam should match the bottom of that front waistband, because there's no waistband in the back. There's also no lace in the back. So I'm going to finish pinning this, matching all these seams. I'm going to sew it, and I'll come back for the felling of the side seams, because I'm still felling these side seams. I suppose I could have, I guess I could still do it, do a French seam. Because there's nothing to say I can't French seam this. I mean, it's really hard to French seam the other seams. You know what? Let's do that. That sounds like way more fun. Because that's 2 machine seams and no hand stitching. And I can get this done faster. Alright, first we're going to do right sides together, and then we'll do wrong sides together. Alright, so I have some, one seam stitched. I flipped it over, so now we're on the wrong side of the fabric, and I'm stitching it again. I'm going to take out the pins, and then we're going to let this sit for ideally 24 hours. I don't know if I'll wait that long. I might just wait till this evening, kind of depending on if I see any stretching in the fabric. I'm not concerned about the white one as much as I am the pink one, because the pink one's fabric was so light and loosely woven that I think it actually might be a problem with that one. Alright, putting the edging on. I already have the pink one marked for hemming. The pink one, yes, did need a good bit of adjustment in the hem. This one did not. This is now going to get ironed down, and we'll stitch it. Alright, here we are. No, we're not putting them on. It's just, they're a little too form-fitting, and I would not feel comfortable in that. But yeah, we have slips This is something I really, really needed in my 1940s wardrobe. I really needed some slips. I have a silk one. It's a darker pink, and on anything, you know, that's even remotely see-through, even if it's just a shadow, you can see the dark pink underneath and where the slip is, and I don't actually prefer that. So I use that one a lot from like modern nightgown purposes. I don't really use that one for a slip, although I have in the past just because I had to, because there were no other options. But now I have two good slips, so a lighter pink one, which hopefully won't be as see-through, and I think I'll wear that white one a lot. I may have to, because I have plenty of that fabric left, I may make a separate, I may make a couple of extra of that one, and I like the lace on that one too, honestly. It just looks so much nicer. I mean, the pink is very pretty and feminine and all of that too, but the white really with that lace is just beautiful. It was a lot more handwork than again I was expecting to do, like we explained earlier. I don't know, I guess I don't look at directions before I actually do the project because the directions don't make sense to me, especially written directions. We're lucky if I understand them while I'm doing a project, but I do understand the term whip stitch, so I could tell what they were wanting me to do. I don't know. I agree that that is probably the easiest way to put those together with those seams, because I could have put them together in a French seam. That would probably be a little bit irritating to the skin, and it wouldn't lay as flat. I could probably do a filled seam, but I do think the way they did it was probably the easiest. Maybe if I were to do it again, I would choose to, instead of hand whipping it down, I would choose to machine sew that second one down so it looked like a fell seam. I don't know. Whatever it is, they turned out just fine either way. So they're about the same length. The white one ended up being just slightly longer, but that's okay. I made them definitely shorter than the Red Cross dresses we've been making because those are the shortest dresses I own. And so if they don't show underneath those, then we're good. And that's the issue I've also had with the silk slip as well, is that it is just slightly longer than the Red Cross dresses, which, I mean, I can always rehem the slip. In fact, the slip isn't even hemmed, so if I hemmed it, it probably wouldn't show. But yeah, I have two usable slips now, which is fantastic. And I think the design is beautiful. I mean, the top of the slips is kind of big and baggy, especially under the arms. I did try them on. Waist fits really well, actual bust fits pretty well, but right under the arms it is pretty baggy. And I think the reason is because you do have to get it over your shoulders to be able to get the thing on. I think if I did them again, I would tip in the top section to where it's not, I mean, you could kind of see it falling out a little bit right there. And I think if I, instead of going out, if I went in a little bit, it would be much better fitting. But for an underslip, I mean, you're not going to see any under a dress anyway. So I'm going to leave these as is, but if I decide to do another one, I will be making that change. But other than that, I don't think I would change anything. I mean, they look really nice. They're going to function. And it is a big gap in my wardrobe that I needed to be filled. That I needed filled. So I do hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.